Welcome in everybody to Fantasy Pros. This is the Fantasy Football Podcast. It is me, Joe Pisapia, and today we've got more mock draft action for you. We've got Derek Brown, D-Bro, the King of Bros, Andrew Erickson, the Undertaker, and Scott Bogman, Mr. College Football, Mr. Dynasty himself, going through 2 rounds of the NFL. We're going to try to mock out as many as we can today, bang these picks out, show you where the teams are going, and of course we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 300,000 subscribers, and we could do it if you help us. Also, make sure you ring that bell till it goes ding for notifications here on Fantasy Pros YouTube, and of course, drop your comments below for your team, your favorite team. I want to know, what picks are you making here? Drop those picks below in the comments as we go through today, and of course, we've got free agency done. We've got still some uncertainty with a couple quarterback positions, so we're going to do the best we can. And Scott Bogman, you're officially on the clock with the Tennessee Titans for the 1 pick.
Yeah, pretty easy pick. I don't know if it's what I would do, but they need a quarterback desperately. Will Levis was miserable last year, so Cam Ward is the best quarterback, in my opinion, in this class. I know our boy Fitzy likes Shedeur Sanders. I know a couple other people like Shedeur Sanders, but D-Bro, of course, loves Shedeur Sanders, but I'm a Cam Ward guy through and through, and I think he's the best quarterback here. I think that's what the Titans are looking for, and you don't succeed in the NFL without a good quarterback, so I think they have to go ahead and take the risk and pull the trigger on Cam Ward here.
Do you think Tennessee has the infrastructure to develop him, Boggs? That's the question.
I think with the improving line, I think they do. They need playmakers after they take Cam Ward. They definitely need somebody to catch the ball on the other side, and I think that's what the rest of this draft and next year's draft is going to be focused on.
General Manager Derek Brown does love Shedeur Sanders. He has made that very public in the media. He is on the clock now for the Cleveland Browns at 2. D-Bro, what do you do?
This is easy, boys. Let's take the possibly most accurate quarterback in this class, really fast decision maker, and address the quarterback position for the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders, come on down, baby. Quarterback out of Colorado. Franchise-changing guy, and he's going to make some waves in Cleveland.
Andrew Erickson, the Giants are pissed off now. No quarterbacks for them. They're at the 3 spot. Cam Ward gone. Shedeur Sanders gone. Erickson, where do the Giants pivot?
I know D-Bro wants me to take Jackson Dart, but I will not be going Jackson Dart. I'll be taking Shedeur Sanders, number 1 receiver from Colorado, Travis Hunter. And yes, he's going to play wide receiver for the New York Giants because Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, they need to win games. And as much as it would be great to see Abdul Carter get sacks and generate pass rush, that's not going to get them wins. So I'm going Travis Hunter, putting him at wide receiver with Malik Neighbors, and hopefully they can catch passes, move the offense with Jameis Winston once he signs with the New York Giants.
Oh, I can't. New York media market, Jameis Winston. Please, God, please give me that. That'd be so great. Baby. I'd love that so much. All right, now my New England Patriots up at 4. Scott Bogman, you're back on the clock, and I think the best player available in this whole draft, offense or defense, is still on the board. I know they need an offensive lineman the worst way. You want to go tackle, but how do you pass up on Carter here?
You don't. You have to take Carter here. I mean, I think at pick number 4, if the 2 quarterbacks go with the first 2 picks, if you're the Patriots, you're sitting there staring at Travis Hunter or you're getting Abdul Carter. I think those are the 2 best players in this draft. So, you sign Harold Landry in the offseason. That's a great move. Milton Williams, great move. But adding Abdul Carter, you now go to a very dangerous defensive line in New England, and I think that would be an excellent pick for them.
And they did a really good job, remaking that defense in free agency, too. Some really good picks there. We got to get him some offensive line help. There's more draft to come. Next up here, number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars. D-Bro, you're on the clock.
Jacksonville has to address their run defense, and they're going to do that with this pick. Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan. Come on down, baby. Jacksonville allowed the 8th most rushing yards per game last year. Graham was the best D tackle in this class as far as run defense grade. It's just a perfect fit, guys.
Next up here at 6, back to Andrew Erickson for the Las Vegas Raiders. So they've got Geno Smith now at quarterback. Where do they go next?
We go with the offensive line. Will Campbell, tackle, guard from LSU. We'll see where they deploy him, but they just got to get more protection up front, protect Geno. When Geno operates from a clean pocket, he can be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I don't think that's a shocker to anybody. So I'm going to go with Campbell here. Pete Carroll upgrade the trenches. Very Pete Carroll-esque move.
Tremendous value at 6, too. People thought he would go in the top 4 picks. The Jets are up next at 7. So they got their quarterback. It's Justin Fields. So what do you do here? Do you give him another weapon? Do you protect him? Do you go on the defensive side, Boggs?
Yeah, I'm going to give him Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren's one of the better players in this draft. I understand a lot of people don't Like the fact that he wasn't good for 3 seasons and then he was good in his last season. But Andy Colton-Nicky, the offensive coordinator that came over from Kansas, wasn't there inventing these great plays, and Drew Aller was not nearly the quarterback he was last season. So I think Tyler Warren took a big step up, and I don't really care what you did the previous 3 years when you show us what you can do your senior year. So give me Tyler Warren here and give the Jets another weapon.
All right, Tyler Warren to the Jets there. That becomes a really interesting offense potentially there. Certainly can run the football. You got Garrett Wilson, now Tyler Warren. That would be fun. The Carolina Panthers, they could use some fun here, D-Bro, at the 8th pick. Where do you want to go for them?
I'm going to give them some fun here, boys. We're going to give Bryce Young another weapon. Tetairoa McMillan, come on down, man. Wide receiver out of Arizona. And Carolina has a bunch of guys that can beat zone, but they don't have a lot of man beaters. Not a lot of guys on that roster that can beat man coverage. Ted can do that. Over the last 2 years, 8th and 10th in yards per route run against man coverage. Let's give Bryce Young a true wide receiver 1.
A true wide receiver 1. Is he the one on your board at wide receiver?
Easy. In his own tier. Nobody else is close.
What if Travis Hunter is just playing wide receiver?
He would be the wide receiver 2. I'm still like halfway through his film, but I think there's a divide there. People aren't going to like that take, but I think Tet's better than Travis Hunter as a wide receiver.
Boggs, do you agree or disagree with that? Like, who's number 1 wide receiver on your board?
Travis Hunter, if he's a wide receiver. But Tet is right now. So if Travis Hunter is drafted as a wideout, I just think he's the best player. This Panthers, I don't want to fight with D-Bro, but this Panthers pick.
Why? It's good ratings.
I do like the Tet pick. I think he's a good fit. This team just gave up the most rushing yards in a single season in NFL history, and Derek Brown, your cousin, got hurt at the end of the year there.
Exactly. That's the point.
They got to play
not
defense,
healthy.
Man. They need
lesser
defense.
Derek Brown. Erickson, would you like to get in a fight with Derek Brown, or do you want to wait till later?
Which Derek Brown? Which one?
I think we know the answer to that
Only
question.
question
That was
that
a
matters.
perfect answer.
Yes.
I think we know which Derek Brown that is, unless you're crazy. All right, let's go to number 9 pick here. The New Orleans Saints are on the clock. That's D-Bro's squad, but Andrew Erickson, you have the pick.
Ashton Jeanty, running back from Boise State.
go.
Not an ideal landing spot, but sometimes these rookie running backs don't end up with a backfield all to themselves. Sometimes things like this can happen. So with Jeanty, look, Kellen Moore is coming from over there from the Philadelphia Eagles, and they just build their entire offense around Saquon Barkley. Like, they know how to incorporate a running back to be a focal point of the offense. So I don't think that the Saints would look at Jeanty and look at their current running back depth chart and think, oh, boy, if Kamara, like, he's fine. Like, we're just going to roll with him. Kamara's on, the back end of his career. He's a receiving back. And now you have a running back that you can feed carries to. Ashton Jeanty, number 9 to the Saints.
There you go.
Does Kamara get traded if they do that? If they pick Jeanty?
I think they would try.
I mean, who's going to trade for Kamara? Like, why would you trade for
I think
Kamara
you'd
in a loaded
put.
Running back class? Why would you trade? I would trade for
understand
Rashad White. Just trade for Rashad White instead. He's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I just think, for Kamara, this team is in such cap hell, so getting a pick is big for them and getting some, a little bit of payroll off. But you're right. Who is trading for him? That's a big question.
You never know. You might get deeper into camp. Somebody gets hurt. Next thing you know.
Sean Payton. Bring him back to Denver.
Well, I'll tell you what, man.
That
that
not a bad
actually
idea.
That's actually ideal because they don't have that answer. Not on that.
It's not ideal for my 20th pick.
There you go. Well, no spoilers. All right, let's go to Chicago at 10 here. Scott Bogman, you're back.
Yeah, I'm going to give Mykel Williams, the edge rusher out of Georgia. Did a good job fixing this line here. Montez Sweat they traded for. Gervon Dexter took a big step up, and then they signed Grady Jarrett after he was cut by the Falcons and Deo Denebo from the Colts. But I think you still need some depth here. Good run stopper, and he can rush the passer. So I like Mykel Williams going to the Bears.
D-Bro, the 49ers at 11.
They have to address the offensive line here. I'm going to give them a tackle, Armand Membou out of Missouri. You can move Colton McKivitz from right tackle back to guard where he played in his rookie season in college. I mean, San Francisco needs to go in the trenches, and I think this is a really good pick for them.
Dallas at 12, Andrew Erickson.
I'm going to go with a wide receiver, Matthew Golden from Texas. So Jerry Jones, I mean, once he saw that 4.29, he was convinced, I have to have this guy on my team. After missing out on the Texas wide receivers last year's draft, he's like, no, not this time, Matthew Golden. Come home, baby, to Dallas. And I think to point out, just look at the Dallas wide receiver depth chart. Who is there behind CeeDee Lamb? Like, who is Dak Prescott throwing the ball to besides CeeDee Lamb? When he got hurt last year, it was Jalen Tolbert trying to step up, Brandon Cooks, and then there was just a hodgepodge of guys. So they need a receiver. I think Golden fits, especially what Lamb does from the slot. Golden take the top off the defense. And I think he can do more than just be a speed receiver, if I'm being totally honest. So to Dallas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely more. So Jonathan
I'm
Mingo
here for all the Jonathan
answer?
Mingo slander.
I was going to say Jonathan Mingo and Jalen Tolbert aren't the answer necessarily.
I forgot about Mingo.
If that's everybody should be running to pick up Dak Prescott if that happens. So his value's at an all-time low, but that would certainly help a lot to give him a second wide receiver there. Miami at 13, Scott Bogman.
Yeah, offensive line problems outside of Terron Armstead last season. So let's give them Kelvin Banks, another Texas player, this high in the draft. Hook him, no big deal. But I think I think you can move him around. He can play tackle, he can play guard, and they need 4 new offensive linemen. So I think Miami could really use an upgrade here.
That's a good value for them too. Banks is a hell of a player. Next up, Indianapolis at 14, Derek Brown.
I swear I actually made this pick, guys. I know we're getting a lot of Texas guys into the action here, but I did actually make this pick.
It's a great team.
I wasn't bullied into this pick by Scott Bogman. Okay, I just want to throw that out there. But Jahdae Barron, come on down, man. Cornerback out of Texas. Look, Indy, I know that they spent a high pick on Juju Brents. They haven't gotten much back from that pick. Jalen Jones, these are not the answers opposite of Travarius Ward for Indy. Let's give them a real cornerback to sit here and get it done.
At 15, Andrew Erickson. The Atlanta Falcons are on the clock.
Thought about Isaiah Bond here, so we could do a 4-peat for Texas, but no, it's not happening. Isaiah Bond, Mr. Burn all my props with his 40 time. Can't talk about it. But
you're not.
I'm gonna go linebacker here with a pass rusher, Jalon Walker from Georgia, the Atlanta Falcons. It's been since my birth, since they've been trying to figure out how to fix their pass rush woes. So they started. Jalon Walker, Georgia product. Come on home, baby.
So was it like 6-7 years ago?
So I was going to say, not that long ago. Okay.
I mean, it's been a long time.
All right, the Arizona Cardinals at 16. Back to you, Scott Bogman.
Yeah, let's go defense again for another team that had defensive woes last season. Did a good job trying to fill in some of these spots. They obviously got Josh Sweat. Dalvin Tomlinson at nose tackle will take up a lot of room, but I think you turn this pass rush into a danger. If you have James Pearce, the edge rusher from Tennessee, and Josh Sweat on this line, and obviously familiarity going to Jonathan Gannon from Philly as well. I think that's a good fit for the Cardinals.
Before we get to the Bengals pick coming up next, which better be defense, remember our Dynasty Rookie Draft Simulator is available right now at fantasypros.com. It lets you complete a mock draft in just minutes with no waiting in between picks to get ready for all your Dynasty leagues. You can customize the league settings to match your league's exact format. And, of course, premium subscribers can test trade scenarios by mocking with their traded draft picks. So it's all there for you to prepare for your rookie drafts and your dynasty startups in one place, and that place is Fantasy Pros. Go to fantasypros.com/simulator to use the Dynasty Rookie Draft Simulator today to dominate your rookie drafts and your dynasty drafts. Next up here, the aforementioned Cincinnati Bengals at 17. D-Bro, please give me a defensive player.
Well, actually, I was going to go with the wide receiver.
Isaiah Bond.
Yeah, Isaiah Bond. No, but seriously, we know the Bengals need to address the pass rush. Whether or not Trey Hendrickson is still a Cincinnati Bengal, they need help in that department. Hopefully, they keep Trey Hendrickson. I'm going to give him a bash brother with Shemar Stewart, the mutant out of Texas A&M. This guy is freaky athletic, 9.9 RAS. And I understand he only had 2 sacks. I get it, people. But he was 14th in hurries. So you look at the deeper metrics, this guy can get after the quarterback, and he's going to be a good pick for Cincinnati.
All right, 18, the Seattle Seahawks, Andrew Erickson. Some different ways they can go here. My guess would be offensive line. Where would you go?
I agree. They have to find ways to protect Sam Darnold, or it's not going to work out. We're going to see Sam Darnold from the Jets very, very quickly in Seattle if they don't protect him. So Grey Zabel, interior offensive lineman from North Dakota State, been a riser since the Senior Bowl, so they get him more protection up front.
You don't want to see Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. That's not what you want right now. 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Scott Bogman, you're up.
Jihaad Campbell, the linebacker from Alabama, I think it's just a perfect fit for this team because they need help at the inside linebacker spot. Levante David is 100 years old, and Servassier Dennis is very inexperienced. Anthony Walker is the backup there. They'll be fighting for playing time, but I think if you take Campbell, he can instantly fill in and help this pass rush that needs help as well on the edges. Interior is great, but I think they need some edge help, and he can play on the edge as well.
Boggs, I remember a couple weeks ago when we did one of these, I said, man, this is crazy. Every team has their first pick. I said, I don't ever remember a draft like this. And it's the first time in the modern day NFL history that this has happened. Ooh. So that's crazy.
Yeah, and we're not at the draft yet.
And it's not going to stay this way, but so far.
Yeah.
And now we haven't made any trades yet, so Alvin Kamara is not a Denver Bronco yet. But the Denver Broncos do need a running back here at 20. Do they pull the trigger there, or do they go on maybe the defensive side of the football?
Yes, sir. We're going running back here. Omarion Hampton, running back from North Carolina. We know Sean Payton wants a workhorse back, and they need one desperately. Hampton can handle the volume, and he's underrated a little bit as a pass catcher, too. So I think he can also catch some passes for Bo Nix out of the backfield.
All right, at 21, Andrew Erickson, Scott Bogman's Pittsburgh Steelers need a quarterback. Do they pull the trigger here?
No, they do not, because they need a wide receiver more because George Pickens is going to get traded. So Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver from Ohio State. You just look at the depth chart. They have DK Metcalf. That's who they invested in long term, but Pickens is on the last year of his contract. He may not be on the team. So I don't think they pass on a player like Egbuka, very productive at Ohio State. And I know that he's maybe not diva enough for you, Boggs, and your Steelers, but maybe they need to go with a guy that just produces. So Egbuka for me to the Steelers.
All right, question. Fill in the blank here. I want all three of you to do this. Andrew Erickson, week 1, Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback is blank.
Aaron Rodgers.
D-Bro.
Jackson Dart.
Scott Bogman.
Mason Rudolph.
Wow. If you were to look up
Buckethead himself, baby.
Defeat in
Big
the dictionary,
face
that was the picture of Boggs' face just now. Wow. All right, that's great.
Can I change my answer?
Sure. Mason Rudolph.
Jalen Milroe.
I think you might make it worse. You might make it worse for Boggs.
I want Jalen Milroe. I want Jalen Milroe to start for this team week 1 of 2027. So
I don't see it happening.
Developed for a couple years. He cannot start this year.
They passed on Malik Willis. They're going to pass on Jalen, too.
All right, let's go to the Chargers at 22. Scott Bogman, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going to go Will Johnson, obviously familiarity with Harbaugh, Michigan guy. They need a corner as well. Tarheeb still had a great season, but I think he kind of faded down the stretch there. Dante Jackson as a starter is rough. I think Cam Hart did fine in the slot, along with Derwin James and Aloy Gilman. I just think the secondary needs a little bit of a boost, and Will Johnson is the best corner available.
23, the Green Bay Packers could use a wide receiver. They're flying off the board. D-Bro, you want to give them one or go defense?
No, we're going defense. Packers they got a need for speed, baby, and I'm going to give it to them. Maxwell Hairston, cornerback out of Kentucky. The last time the Green Bay Packers took a cornerback in the first round, it was Eric Stokes with his 4.31 speed. Come on. LaFleur and everybody and company saw Hairston run the fast 40 at the combine. It's over, man. They got a fever, and I'm going to give them Hairston.
24, Minnesota, Andrew Erickson.
I'm going to go defense here. I think this is a sneaky spot for us to potentially see the first safety drafted. So I'm going to go Malaki Starks, safety from Georgia. You look at the Vikings. They lost Cameron Byam to the Colts in free agency. Harrison Smith is not getting any younger. So adding a highly intelligent defender to Brian Flores, I think it's a match made in heaven.
Luther Burden could be still on the board here. The Houston Texans at 25. Boggs?
Yeah.
You want to...
Erickson will lie to you and tell you I was bullied into this pick, but
he will. He spreads lies.
I had
lies.
taken Josh Simmons, and then an hour later, Cam Robinson signed. So they need a wide receiver here in Houston. Obviously, Nico Collins is outstanding, but I don't know. Christian Kirk, what does he have left in the tank? I'm not completely sold. Tank Dell is going to miss the entire season, and they gave a shot to Mechie last season. It didn't work. I just think Luther Burden falling down the board is a great value, and let's just give Stroud all the weapons he can handle.
Is that better, though, than taking offensive tackle, let's say? Like a Simmons
I think
like
it is
that?
Because they signed Cam Robinson. I don't think Cam Robinson is your permanent solution, but I think he's good enough to make it so let's focus on this wide receiver spot.
I mean, they need more than just
it is
Robinson,
a little desperate.
Too. They need a lot on that offensive line. All right, let's go to the Rams at 26. D-Bro, you're up.
Sean McVay loves to be multiple. I think we're going to get more 2 wide receiver sets this year for the Rams. And with that happening, you can play Coleston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan, as a big slot in 12 personnel as well with Tyra Higbee. Higbee's getting up in age. Let's give them, because we know that this team was in on the Brock Bowers sweepstakes last year. We're going to give them a stud tight end from this class. Coleston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. Come on down, baby. Let's go.
27, the Ravens, team BPA. Andrew Erickson, who's the BPA?
Yep, they go safety, Nick Emmanwori, safety from South Carolina. In an effort to try to stop Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for the next 4 years, you combine Emmanwori with Kyle Hamilton. You have this dynamic safety duo that can fly all over the field. So, again, Ravens just take BPA. Whoever is on the highest on Daniel Jeremiah's top 50, that's usually they take here, and that's the guy.
Detroit is up next at 28, Scott Bogman.
Yeah, not a lot of needs for Detroit, but we did see what happened along this defensive line in terms of the pass rush after Aiden Hutchinson got hurt. So Mike Green, we saw him have an enormous Senior Bowl, just shove people around the edge rusher out of Marshall, and I think him being across from Aiden Hutchinson would be a great fit. So let's give them some depth along that line.
At 29, the Washington Commanders and Derek Brown.
We are going to give them help along the defensive line. Dan Quinn is cutting backflips, baby. He's going shirtless. He's flexing, running the card in for Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan. I know they added Javon Kinlaw this offseason, but Daron Payne over the last 2 years has not played good football, as well as they can get out of his contract after this upcoming season. Kenneth Grant is a fantastic add.
Okay, so there you go. Grant to Washington. At 30, the Buffalo Bills, Andrew Erickson.
Walter Nolen, defensive tackle from Ole Miss. The Buffalo Bills did add some pieces along their defensive line in free agency, and then 2 of them got suspended for 6 games because of PEDs. So let's build some depth up here through the NFL draft. I know they got Joey Bosa as well, but Walter Nolen is the pick for me.
All right, the Kansas City Chiefs at 31, Scott Bogman.
Yeah, who is playing left tackle for this team right now? We have no idea. It's Jalen Moore as of now. So that Josh Simmons pick, I think, fits perfectly here. So we'll go with the big tackle out of Ohio State for the Chiefs.
They'd be happy with that, I think. Chiefs would be very pleased if they came away with a solid tackle in round one.
On that line.
Philly is up next, the reigning defending champions, to close out round 1 at 32. Debro, close us out strong.
Howie doing Howie things, baby. Let's give him cornerback Trey Amos out of Ole Miss. They need a replacement for Darius Slay opposite of Quinyon. Amos has 4.4 speed, and whether he was at Louisiana Lafayette, Alabama, or Ole Miss, this guy produces, man. Philly would love to have him.
Interesting situation there, too. They lost a lot this past offseason, but clearly they have so many draft picks the next couple of years. This is like dynasty potential here if they get some of these picks right in the next 2 years after this. Before we go ahead and turn the page to round 2, when it comes to college basketball and March Mania, one thing is for sure, nothing is for sure. That's right. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing. Andrew Erickson's already torn up his entire bracket. Top seeds are going home early. It's all going to happen as we continue on with March. And if you bet on the unexpected, pretty much you're going to win every day. So if you're going to make a bet this March Madness, make sure you do it with DraftKings Sportsbook. And with live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. So bet on the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use the promo code FANTASYPROS. That's one word, FANTASYPROS, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Round 2, the Cleveland Browns are on the clock. That means we are time to make some picks here. Let's get over to this first pick. Scott Bogman, you are going to lead us off again.
Yeah, let's give them Nick Scourton. Obviously the quarterback is the biggest need for this team, and they did get Myles Garrett back, but that does not mean the defensive line is fixed by any stretch of the imagination. Across from Myles Garrett right now, it's Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Isaiah McGuire, Okoronkwo, who they signed from Houston a couple years ago.
Now you're just showing off.
Yeah, well, look.
That you can say all these names so easily.
It also is easy for me. Let's give this team that I hate another Aggie that I hate. So 2 Aggies at edge rusher. I love that for them.
Debro, the Giants are up next at 34. They had success with a Hall of Fame someday quarterback from Ole Miss. Could they go down that well again?
The mental gymnastics to get Eli Manning in here is honestly fantastic, Joey.
It's coming. It's coming.
Oh,
that was
not a first ballot.
And
that was
fair.
honestly fantastic.
And that's fair.
Yes, we are going to address the quarterback position here, giving Travis Hunter another weapon to this offense. In this mock, Jackson Dart falls out of round 1. The Giants pounce on him in round 2 and address the quarterback situation.
Okay, Jackson Dart. Very exciting. I like this. I'll tell you what, if they come away with Travis Hunter and Jackson Dart, I think you could sell that to the fan base. We got a quarterback. We got one of the best pure football players in the draft. I don't think it's going to save their jobs, but certainly at least maybe a renewed optimism there. The Tennessee Titans, Andrew Erickson, they did a lot here. They're at 35. What do they do?
Yeah, I'm going to go edge rusher. This is a really good edge class, especially in round 2. So Donovan Ezeruka, edge from Boston College, something that he said at the Combine. I want to destruct a quarterback is what he said during his Combine interviews. So perfect fit for a team that's trying to revamp its defensive line, got rid of a lot of the parts from last season. Wasn't tough enough. They get tougher with this guy.
36 overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Scott Bogman.
Yeah, we're going to go offensive line here. We addressed defensive line in the first round with Mason Graham. I thought that was an excellent pick. I think Josh Connerly, this is what has been missing from this team is, help on the interior of the defensive line and help along the offensive line. That and obviously good coaching. So I think with better coaching and a better line play, this team can improve a lot.
All right, 37, Las Vegas Raiders, Derek Brown.
The last time that old Pete drafted a wide receiver out of Ole Miss, he went shirtless and decided to flex off with that wide receiver. I can't wait to see it happen again, baby. So I'm going to give them Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss, one of my favorite guys in this class. He can beat man coverage. He can give you big plays down the field. Fantastic pairing. And also quietly, I know they have Brock Bowers to sit here and stand on business on the offensive side. Jacoby Myers is not getting any younger, and he could be gone after this season. So they need another pass catcher for Geno Smith.
D-Rose going full Ole Miss in round 2 here. I love this. Starting off things. All right, 38. Patriots are up. Andrew Erickson. Jaden Higgins is still on the board. I like him a lot, but it feels like offensive line is probably the smarter place to go here since we got Carter. Can we have our cake and eat it too?
Yeah, we have to go offensive tackle here. I cannot do another season of Adarian Lowe. Just taking any type of significant snaps at left or right tackle, I refuse. So, Aratone Ursary, left tackle from Minnesota. He's a 3-year starter at a left tackle. Get Drake May some protection, please.
There you go. 39. The Chicago Bears are up next. Scott Bogman.
Yeah, we're going to stay on the defensive line. We gave them an edge rusher in the first round. Now we're going to give them an interior guy in Derek Harmon. Look, I think they've done a good job signing these free agents, but Grady Jarrett is close to my age, so not great. Let's go ahead and get some youth in that line, and I think Dexter and Harmon in the middle of that defense make it pretty scary for years to come.
So 27? Is that the age? Just
yeah.
So exactly. Young?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. All right, New Orleans at 40. D-Bro, your boys, what do you want to do here?
They need a weapon on the offensive side. In addition to Ashton Jeanty, Derek Carter needs more pass catchers. Rashid Shaheed is only on a 1-year deal, so he could be gone after this year. Let's give him Jaden Higgins, one of my favorite wide receivers from this class out of Iowa State. This dude tested, jumped out of the freaking gym, 9.9 RAS. The analytics in the film back it up. He will be a stud in the NFL.
I like Higgins too. Yeah, all of a sudden you give him Jeanty, you give him Higgins, Chris Olave comes back. Maybe Derek Carr is not a miserable person this year. I mean, maybe life gets good again. 41, the Chicago Bears. Andrew Erickson, you're up.
So you know that Star Wars meme where the guy's like, more offensive linemen. I don't care if they drafted they signed all these guys in free agency. Don't care. I want more. I want more offensive linemen to protect Caleb Williams. So Marcus Embo, offensive tackle from Purdue, taking no chances. Continue to bolster this offensive line. You'll get success. You have Odunze. You have DJ Moore. That's how we got to do it.
Next up here at 42, the New York Jets. Scott Bogman, you're on the clock.
Yeah, for everyone that was upset that I did not take an offensive lineman in the first round for the Jets, I'm doing it here. Let's give them Cameron Williams, the young starter for the Longhorns last year at right tackle. You can put him in. You're doing it wrong, Eric. Come on, do it like this.
Whatever, man. I do the thing that D-Bro doesn't slack.
But yeah, I think Cameron
just got
Williams
exposed on the pod, D-Bro.
I mean, I'll stick with it, baby. I just so people know that I read their message.
I can hear all the YouTube comments now too. Like people are like, all Scott Bogman does is give out Texas players. Well, they were a pretty good team last year, so it's like saying all they do is give out Alabama players the last 10 years.
Throw away
from
the natty. So they're pretty good. But Cam Williams also just helps in the run game immediately for the New York Jets at right tackle. So I think he's like a plug and play guy, and he's got a lot of meat on the bone because he's very young.
49ers at 43. Derek Brown.
I know they signed Trey Brown, but they need help with the secondary. Let's give them a starter, hopefully for week 1. I know Siobhan Ravel, cornerback out of Eastern Carolina, is coming off the ACL, but he is said to be ready for week 1. Dude's a dog. So this is a Robert Saleh pick all the way through and through.
Yeah, he's going to have his work cut out for him, too. They lost a lot of pieces on the defense this offseason.
Yep.
It's going to be a weird team.
Secondary would be pretty solid with this, though.
All right. Splash last time for the Dallas Cowboys, Erickson, where they took Matthew Golden. Now what do they do at 44?
Yeah, we had our fun. We got a receiver, but now we go back to establish the run. We got to run the football. Brian Schottenheimer. So Tyler Booker, offensive guard, Alabama, plug and play. Same analysis for every Alabama offensive guard that's come out seemingly for the last 10 years. Just throw him in there. He'll be good.
What a running back room. Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. Wow. Indianapolis up at 45. Scott Bogman.
Yeah, let's go. No Texas players to give them here, so let's give them Tyleik Williams, the run stuffer. They gave up. They were bottom 10 in rushing yards allowed. We saw that when Grover Stewart was suspended. This is a completely different run D. So let's give them a little bit of interior help. After giving them Barron already, they have a guy from Texas, so they're good.
All right. Well, Ohio State. I guess you'll settle for an Ohio State guy. All right. Next up is the Atlanta Falcons at 46 and Derek Brown.
Apparently, I just live on two campuses all day, every day. It's Ole Miss and Iowa State, but I'm good with it because they have a lot of talented players, boys. Atlanta, two problems, pass rush and secondary. Well, we already addressed the pass rush with the first pick. Let's go with the secondary. Darian Porter, quarterback out of Iowa State. Big physical guy, and he could run with anybody. So, A.J. Terrell, hey, guess what? You got a running mate now.
There you go. Next up, Andrew Erickson at 47 for the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm going to go offensive lineman. Donovan Jackson, offensive lineman from the Ohio State. He stepped up last year at left tackle after Josh Simmons obviously went out with the injury, so he has some versatility when it comes to tackle and guard. And I kind of think offensive line is a need for the Cardinals. You look at Jonah Williams, he got hurt last year, and he's on the last year of his contract at right tackle. And the offensive line, the interior did not play that well. So I think bolstering that for Kyler Murray, protection. So that's the move here, Donovan Jackson.
All right, Miami last time in round 1, they went on the offensive side of the football box. It's time for a defensive pick at 48.
Quick, name me a defensive back from Miami that's not Jalen Ramsey. Anybody? Come on.
Storm Duck.
Let's hear one. That's it. We're gonna replace Storm Duck.
It's not Javon
right
Holland,
here
I know that.
with this pick. Azariah Thomas from Florida State. He was locking up everybody during the Senior Bowl week, so I think that's a very good pick to help on the perimeter of the defense for the Dolphins.
49, the Cincinnati Bengals. Debro.
Going to the trenches, baby. The Bengals' projected starting guards are Cordell Volson and Cody Ford. It's not going to get it done, guys. Let's give them guard out of Arizona, Jonah Savaiinaea. He's definitely feels the need for this team. We got to keep Joe Burrow. If anything's going to work right for this offense, you got to keep Burrow upright.
Next year, 50, the Seattle Seahawks. Andrew Erickson.
So John Schneider said during the offseason the Seahawks have to get faster on defense. They need speed, and I immediately went to UCLA linebacker Carson Schweizinger. Is a speedy linebacker, flies all over the field, so I think he'll be a good staple in the Mike McDonald defense.
Seattle's going to have another pick coming up at 52, but before that at 51, the Denver Broncos. Scott Bogman.
Yeah, let's go with a Pat Fitzmaurice favorite here. Alec Maynard, the big wide receiver from Stanford, one of the only guys to absolutely dominate Travis Hunter in his collegiate career. Just got a lot of size, great catch radius, and exactly what Bo Nix needs. So I think this offense looks dangerous. If you had Omarion Hampton, right? You have Sutton, you have Maynard, you added Evan Ingram. This defense or this offense, is looking very, very dangerous here.
Yeah, a playoff team last year already. Back to Seattle at 52, their second pick here in the second round. Debro, what do they do this time? Erickson just gave them a linebacker from UCLA. Where do they go next?
Well, the defensive head coach wants another piece for his defense. Let's give him cornerback to Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. They need another starting corner opposite Reek Woolen and Devon Witherspoon. Morrison was limited to 6 games last year with a hip injury. He should come in healthy, and this guy's a stud, man. Like 58.4 passer rating allowed in his coverage in college. Yeah, that'll play up all day, baby.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 53, Andrew Erickson.
Landon Jackson, edge rusher from Arkansas. They just got to help the defense as much as possible. Offense will be fine with Baker Mayfield, but get more defensive weapons for Todd Bowles.
All right, Scott Bogman, if we don't give Green Bay a wide receiver at 54, I don't know what Pat Fitzmaurice is going to do with us because we didn't do it in round 1. He is over.
Why do they need another wide receiver? They already have good guys on the team.
I guess, but Pat is not happy. Like he doesn't. I guess they've got a lot of them, but he doesn't like any of them. But he's not here right now. So Scott Bogman, what do you want to do?
Yeah, when the Fitz is away, Bogman will play. I'm going to give them some defense here. Princely Uman Mielen the edge rusher out of Ole Miss. I just think that he adds to this rotation. Obviously, they spent a high pick on Lucas Van Ness a couple years ago. Rashawn Gary is very good, but on the right side, it's Kingsley and Enagbare, Brenton Cox Jr. They just don't have a lot of depth here. So I think Emmanwori Hampton immediately provides depth at that position.
All right, so the Chargers are up next here. Last time we went cornerback. This time the Chargers, who made the playoffs last year, Debro, where do you go?
Justin Herbert needs another weapon, and I'm going to give it to him. Elijah Arroyo, tight end out of Miami. This guy's a pass game weapon. I mean, but look, since he crushed the Senior Bowl, his stock has risen precipitously. This guy is a true weapon and a difference maker. He is going to be a mismatch weapon for Greg Roman, so let's give him a stud tight end.
Erickson, you're up on the clock at 56 for the Buffalo Bills.
I was thinking about corner here, but because the Bills definitely need another cornerback to get away from the Dane Jackson experiment. But I felt it was a reach everywhere for the other cornerbacks on the board, so I went in a different direction. Went safety, Xavier Watts, safety from Notre Dame. He's a ball hawk, so he can create plays, get interceptions, help bolster that secondary for the Bills.
Okay, next up, the Carolina Panthers at 57. Back to you, Scott Bogman.
Yeah, let's give them some defense here, right? They've done a good job in the offseason. They signed Wharton, they signed Bobby Brown. But the guys behind them are old. Ashawn Robinson, Shai Tuttle. These guys were part of the problem last year. So let's go with Darius Alexander, the big interior defensive lineman out of Toledo, to give them a little help on that run D.
The Houston Texans are back up at 58. Derek Brown.
Oh, Alfred Collins, defensive tackle out of Texas, doesn't have to go far to be a Houston Texan. They need beef up front, man. I mean, definitely have to add it. I know they added Sheldon Rankins this offseason, but they need an upgrade over defensive tackle Tim Settle.
6 picks remain here in round 2 at 59. The Baltimore Ravens and Andrew Erickson.
I think I need an edge rusher, so we're going to go with Jack Sawyer, edge from Ohio State.
At 60, the Detroit Lions are back on the clock. Scott Bogman, look, the Lions, you could really kind of have your cake and eat it too. Where do you want to go here for this pick in round 2?
Let's give them a slot guy. I mean, we have, Amon-Ra's great. Jameson Williams is fantastic. But I think Jalen Noel can fill whatever role they want. And this is just, piling on here. This roster is one of my favorite in the league. They got DJ Reed at corner. So in the offseason, that's a position that maybe you could address here. But I think this is just a luxury pick. I think Jalen Noel is one of the better picks. And I feel like I sniped Debro. So I think this is a great selection for an Iowa State guy.
What do you think about John Morton, the new OC there?
I think you're going to see a lot of the same. I think you're going to see a lot of the same because it has worked. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I think you're going to see them stick with what they have been using already.
All right, Washington at 61. Back to Derek Brown.
Unfortunately, Brian Robinson Jr. could not stay healthy last year. So we're going to give Washington a guy that can carry the mail. He can carry the load. I'm going to give him Caleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. I know everybody's so disappointed that he ran in the 4.5s. I don't care, and neither do the Commanders.
So did Derrick Henry. I keep telling everybody, it's like, who cares? Like that, it's like as long as the 4.5 is awful. Like, look,
no.
What does that do though to Brian Robinson Jr.'s value? Though I think that's a dramatic hit. I like Caleb a lot.
It is, and I think. You're looking at the Cliff Kingsbury offense. They need somebody that can handle the volume, man. And Brian Robinson Jr. just proved last year that he couldn't hold up to it. And after this season, he's a free agent. So they have to get ahead of it and address the position.
This is the draft to get ahead at running back, too. 62, the Buffalo Bills, Andrew Erickson.
Bolstering the defensive line, Joshua Farmer, defensive tackle from FSU. Get another interior disruptor.
All right. 63, Kansas City Chiefs, Scott Bogman, your final pick.
Yeah, I love this pick. This is Jalon Walker, the enormous mountain of a man, interior defensive lineman from Kentucky, who we found out played all of last year with a broken foot. So he is just a monster. He's 6'7", 331, and you put up a space clogger next to Chris Jones on that line and give him more one-on-ones. I think it's a great fit for Kansas City here.
And last selection at 64. Debro, the Philadelphia Eagles take.
They're going to take JT Tuamaloa out of Ohio State. Look, I know that they added Joshua Uche and Azeez Ojulari this offseason, but both are on one-year deals. Both are retread guys. They need to add a long-term edge on this defensive line, like opposite that fantastic interior. And we know they don't have any needs on the offensive side of the ball.
All right, so when you're stepping back here, now that the rounds 1 and 2 are done, who's winning the draft so far, in your opinion here? D-Bro, when you come back, Scott Bogman, think about it. Andrew Erickson, think about it. In the meantime, quick reminder, too, if you're trying to prepare for all of your upcoming rookie drafts and dynasty drafts, fantasybros.com/simulator, that's the place to go to get prepared, to run those mock drafts, to get you ready and dominating all of the upcoming drafts. So, as you step back there, D-Bro, who do you think's had a really good first 2 rounds?
2 teams jump out to me, filling needs and getting stud players. Denver addressing their offense, getting 2 really good skill guys. And Washington, man, like Kenneth Grant falling all the way to 29. I mean, Dan Quinn might have a heart attack as they make that pick.
Scott Bogman, how about you? Who's winning the draft here after these 2 rounds?
I think Denver is the answer. You give them a couple of these playmakers, and I think just keep building for Bo Nix. You know, repeatability is tough. We saw it last year with Stroud not having such a great year as his rookie season. So I think keep adding targets and weapons for Bo Nix, I think, is a very smart way to go about it.
Andrew Erickson, who's winning the draft?
I'm trying to be contrarian here, but you guys got all of the good teams and identified it exactly the way it should be. So, yeah, I have to agree. The Denver Broncos, they're really setting up Bo Nix for success.
You could say the Patriots, they got the best player in the draft and a tackle. I mean,
but they
look, I know it sounds like a homer thing to say, but, bro, if that's the way the first 2 rounds go, I'm going to be a happy boy.
They didn't get a weapon. That's what I'm not happy about.
Can I shout out the Chargers?
Isaiah Bond's still on the board here, by the way.
Go.
So
round
maybe in the
3.
3rd round.
Word is Bond. Let's go.
Chargers are also crushing this draft, getting in a stud corner and another pass catcher for Justin Herbert. Totally on board with that.
All right, so if you're watching on the YouTube channel, because that's the only place you're going to watch us, make sure you drop your comments below. Drop me your favorite team and the pick you would be making for them. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's different than what the boys made, but we'd love to hear from you. Give us the first round and the second round. If you're somebody who really knows your college football, we love hearing from all of you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 300,000 this year, and we can do it with your help. And, of course, make sure you ring that bell that goes ding for notifications so you don't miss a single moment of all of our draft coverage, because we will be live for the NFL Draft Night 1 and Night 2 again this season. So we are the perfect second screen experience to break these picks down the way you see them for your fantasy teams, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Derek Brown, Andrew Erickson, and Scott Bogman, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.